Hello, my name is Rosanamod, and welcome to the rosanamod podcast. Want to modify your life? That is corny, but I'm going to keep it in there. This variety show brainstorms solutions for everyday challenges, unlocks your secret potential, think outside the box with creative ideas that improve your business and your life. Get inspired with special guests, get motivated with how-to projects for the whole family, and learn that life is too short for anything less than being happy. Laugh with me or at me, it doesn't matter. Somebody's going to laugh. Welcome to the rosanamod Variety Pod. This is your vessel and host, Rosanamod, aka rosanamod. Today is episode 91, and it would have been 91 a couple of days ago, but there are some updates, and I'm going to be talking about this on probably on Tuesday. Today, I just wanted to focus on relationships, something that's been on my mind. Ghosting, and I talk about ghosting. I don't like that word, ghosting. I don't like it. You know, I think it should just be called ignore, because we try to make everything sound better than it really is sometimes. And I think it tricks us into accepting the truth about things. So ghosting is kind of like a cool terminology. That means when someone just stops talking to you or basically ignoring you. And I like to call it what it is. Have you heard from what's his name? No, he's ghosting me. Oh. You know what I mean? As opposed to, have you heard from what's his name? No, he's ignoring me. He's not talking to me. I haven't heard from him. You see what I mean? There's a difference, right? So I think we should all just take it as it is. And I take it as it is because it's happened to me a few times. I've done it to people too. So I understand how that works. And, sometimes just life happens. I'm not the kind of person that would ignore you on purpose, though, if there's an interest going on. And I think at this stage in the game, when you are an adult, ghosting or ignoring or just not talking is sort of on the immature side. I think that it's better to just talk about things. I mean, communication is key to anything. I personally need communication, and I deserve communication. So if someone decides to ghost you, the question that I want to ask you is, why do you feel that they are ghosting you? And I'm not asking you as a question of like what you did wrong or anything, or what you think is wrong with the relationship. No. What I'm asking is, would you have noticed that this person was ghosting you if you had a life outside of thinking of this person all the time? Think about that. When you're really busy with something with life and you're working many hours a day, and you've got a lot of things going on, you don't really have the time to think about people, relationships. You might think about them here and there, but you're so focused on your work and you're so focused on other things going on in your life that you don't really pay attention to who's talking to you, who's calling you, who's texting you, or whatever. Sometimes you lose track of time and you realize, oh my God, has it been a week since I've heard from this? I haven't heard from this person in a week. You didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. Okay? So I think that it's not that the person is ghosting you. I think that it's that you are clingy. That's the truth. And I know that sounds crappy, but I think that's my opinion, okay? Maybe you're thinking about this person more than he deserves to be thought of. Maybe you're thinking about this girl more than she deserves to be thought of. Why don't you turn it around and think of things that way? Instead of looking at it as though you did something wrong, or you don't deserve them, or they're doing, they're busy. What could they be doing? Could it be this? Could it be that? Maybe somebody died. Maybe they're sick. Maybe they got into an accident. Maybe, whatever. That's too much thought and energy into somebody who's not giving you anything. So the way that I look at it is, if you're with somebody and they just stop talking to you, don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Just go about your business and do what it is that you do for you. Live your life and focus all of that energy that you have for this person that you're worried about, that worry energy, and twist that around and make it all about you. And say, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about this person. So they decided to stop talking to me. Move on. How long do you wait before you move on? Well, that's a good question. Sometimes you're with somebody, for years, and they just stop talking to you. Or the last conversation that you had with somebody is, I'll talk to you later. Or maybe we should get together soon. And then you just don't hear from them anymore. Then in that respect, I would probably reach out just to say, are you okay? Or I hope you're okay. Because you're curious. You're wondering, maybe something bad happened. Maybe they're sick. Maybe they got into an accident. Really. You're concerned. You're concerned. I wouldn't text like, I'm worried about you. I would text more like, are you okay? And that's it. And wait. And if they don't respond back within the same day, I would think, okay, maybe they're not okay. And that's it. Don't push it. That one concerned email or text is all you need to send out. And they get 24 hours to respond, in my opinion. Okay. If this is a long distance relationship, it's the same. If you've been going out with this person more than a year, I would think that it's okay to ask, are you okay? That's where I would think. If you just met the person though, like on a dating site or something, and you don't really know the person, and all of a sudden they just stop texting you after a while, that's when you give it, I personally would give it like 3 days max. And if I haven't heard from them, I'm just moving on. 3 days for me is kind of like a limit, If I'm concerned about you and I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks and I reach out, are you okay? It doesn't mean that I'm stalking you in any way. It doesn't mean that I'm pushing at all. All it means is we have I feel like that we had some kind of a connection where I could ask, are you okay? But I'm not going to do that with somebody I've just met anyway. The only reason I would do that is with somebody that I've known for years, that I've been with for years, or, that we met after we've already had a long relationship, something like that. Somebody that's been established in my life as somebody in the VIP section. Do you know what I mean? Somebody that you've dated before. In the VIP section is a good friend. Do you see? It's been so many times that I thought about, like, I'm a very big worrier. So for me, when you have kids, you know how that is. You worry all the time when they don't call. You start imagining things that could happen. And when you imagine, you can think about things. And I think that's the danger of that time lapse where you don't hear from the person. You start imagining all these things and creating all these stories in your head. And most of the time you are incorrect. Most of the time you're wrong. So, and then there's another way to do it. Other times, like when you're dating someone, you do the same thing. But instead of thinking the worst, you think, oh, well, I'm sure they're going to call me. Sometimes this happens, Like I think guys do this a lot because they can't believe that a woman would actually ignore them. So they would think, well, I'm sure she's busy, or something must be going on in her family that she can't reach out to me. I'm sure she must be very upset about something, or I'll give her space and see what happens, And meanwhile, they're biting their nails thinking, really, why isn't she texting me? Why isn't she calling me? What's going on here? I thought we had a great time, And I think guys fall into that trap. Well, not just the guys, but I think women that are vain fall into that trap. They can't believe that something like that would happen to them, right? Why would they stop talking to me? This gorgeous specimen over here. You know what I mean? Don't think of yourself that way, because there's always somebody prettier and there's always somebody more handsome. So you're not the only guy. But I think that the main point that I wanted to put out there is simply this. Think about how when you're being ghosted or when you're being ignored, don't make it about you. Don't focus so much about it's all about you. Like they're thinking about you and they can't get it together, or they just don't like you anymore, or something you said or something you did. It's not about you. The world is huge. There's 100 million things that it could be. Don't try and figure it out because you're not a psychic. Don't go to a psychic and waste your money and have them tell you, because that's ridiculous. You got the phone. If you really feel like asking, then ask. Say, hey, what's going on? I thought we had a good time. If you want to do that, I wouldn't, like I said, if you just met somebody. But if you have a relationship with somebody established and it's been a while, and a while means you've been intimate and it's been more than one time, and they just stop talking to you, then I think you deserve an answer. I think you should put them on, on blast and actually just confront them and say, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? But just ask, are you okay? And see what they say. If they don't respond after that initial question, after you've been ghosted, move on. My 2 words are move on. Let it go. If you've had a longer relationship with somebody and you're good friends and you've known each other for years and this person just drops, especially after a conversation that's left looming where you say, okay, I'll talk to you soon, or let's get together, let's make a plan to meet, and all of a sudden he just disappears or she just disappears, then you're entitled to ask, hey, are you okay? I hope everything's okay with you. It sounds concerned, you sound curious, you're not pushing. And then after that initial question, if they decide not to respond, drop it, move on. In a worst case scenario, if it's something bad that happened, you're going to find out about it. If eventually you will. In another worst case scenario, but nothing bad happening to them, maybe they met somebody else, again, you'll find out about it. So either way, you put yourself into a position where you're busy all the time, you won't be thinking about this person so much to worry. If they're ghosting, you won't even notice. That's really how it is. So it's not that they're ghosting you, it's that you're being too clingy and you're being too worrisome. You're giving them too much credit or too much importance in your life that they deserve. That's really what it comes down to. Because if somebody really cares about you and somebody's really concerned about you, they're not going to let 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month go by without contact if they're okay. They're just not concerned about you. They're not thinking about you at all. If they are thinking about you too much and maybe they're going through some kind of a problem, it doesn't matter. You don't drop somebody like that. You don't cut the communication line completely where you don't throw out something and say, hey, I'm going through something right now. Or, I probably won't talk to you for a few days because I'm going through something right now. At least give them something. They deserve that much from you. It would be much more honorable as a person to reach out and let them know that you're going through some kind of trouble or you're going through some kind of a problem and you can't talk right now. At least that gives the other person relief, and they deserve that relief. Instead, you're letting them worry and letting them wonder why. Who do you think you are, basically? What gives you that right? Why are you giving yourself that right? You're affecting other people. And that's another trait of a selfish person. On that note, I have to give my little girl antibiotics. And again, I'll talk about that Tuesday probably and see what's going on there. Don't forget to check out my eBay store. I'm going to put a link down below about my eBay store. I'm selling a lot of vintage items. I'm starting with vintage jewelry right now. Also, don't forget about my Amazon shop. I've listed 12 items. I'm going to keep it at 12 items for now. Link will be below the show notes. Handmade jewelry. Also, if you want to contact me, please reach out on Instagram at rosanamod and send me an email message there. Or you can go directly to my email contact, also below the show notes. Everything you need is below the show notes, including a link for supporting my show. So if you like this show and you would like to support it, please click the link below. I thank you in advance, and you guys are wonderful, and I can do this forever. If I can do this every day, I would. I told you. I took off these past 2 days because of Coco, and I've been caring for her, so it's been a little bit rough for me, and I'm just trying, my best, so hopefully she'll be okay. And lastly, if you want to be a podcaster and you think this is something you would like to do, talk to yourself in front of a mic and nobody really watching you, unless you put a mirror in front of you, which would be kind of weird, do it. There's a link below where it says Buzzsprout. Click on that. They show you step by step. You get a free website. Everything is cool. Customer service is excellent. I've never had any problems with them. They put you out on all of the Apple and podcast stations, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, etc. All those. They do all that for you, so you don't have to really do anything. They give you an RSS feed and you share it with them and it's done. I'm telling you, they're pretty cool. They're the best. So far, I've never had any problems with them, and I plan on sticking with them for as long as they're around. So that's all I have for you today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow for Friday Foods. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll figure it out. Until then, thank you again for listening. rosanamod and Instagram, that's the best place to reach me. Don't reach me on Facebook because I'm getting a lot of creepy emails there and I'm not responding to any of them. I hear my dog eating, so that's a really good sign. And God bless you. And what do we say?